Okay. So first off, remember the 5th of November. Thanks for joining, everyone. Not too many people here, but we're recording, so we usually get 5 to 10 views. So record for everyone. First off, on the mining, it seems like everything is still going smoothly. Contract is currently running, which is always the goal. It doesn't seem like there's nobody's screaming at me about any issues, which is always a good thing. Um, the number of miners has kind of gone down over the last week. Not too much. So, we hit a peak of, I think, like 105. Now we're down to like 95. So some miners are starting to, I think, pull back on some nodes, which is a-okay. Hopefully we can get that number up as we sort of expand the miner and expand the number of people who are coming onto the system. So the updates as of last week. So we did push a miner upgrade last week. It was a big one. You guys probably didn't notice it was a big one. But as far as the amount of code that we upgraded, it was a pretty big one. I think for you guys, the biggest piece was that we added that heartbeat measure. So there was just a nice little way for everyone to look at, hey, this is kind of how your system's doing. And some people were posting them. You can scroll up and look at the Tellor miner channel, how some people are doing versus others. So hopefully we can kind of keep those conversations going and out in the open, just how you're doing. So if you're curious about how you're doing relative to others, just post your number and kind of the amount of tributes you're winning, and it should at least give people a better measure. So if you're trying to figure out what system you want to buy, you can like run the miner and have a hash rate, and hopefully we can all just see, hey, if you have this hash rate, it leads to roughly this amount of tokens. So if you guys can post on the Tellor Miner channel, let's keep the conversation going there. The other big piece about the code was that if you wanted to, you can now easily separate out the database from the miner component. So you've noticed in like whenever you run the miner, there's like a dash miner or a dash data server. So if you just downloaded the standard stuff, you wouldn't know this, but now you can have one node on your computer running the server, and then you can have another or multiples running the miner, and they all read from that same data server. So theoretically, you could have one AWS box as your data server that has more memory, and then you have just a whole bunch of like really fast GPU instances or really high-powered CPU instances with very little memory, and they just point and read from the database. And it should save them because they don't have to update their own database. They just read from the other guy. So yeah, it should make things more efficient for you if you are running sort of the multiple miners and you haven't done this. You probably should. Also, just you let us know. Maybe take a snapshot of what your performance is before and after the upgrade, and let us know. And if you need help kind of setting that up, we're still sort of in the process. Like we have a Google Doc that's out there with some of the upgrade instructions, but we're working on kind of updating the normal documentation so you can easily do that. But yeah, I mean, if you have any trouble, just hit us up. The other thing, if you have any idea, so one guy, I'm sure you guys have seen, he's been posting, asking for help on the Tellor Miner channels. He's having trouble sort of depositing and sending transactions via Infura. He's located in China. I didn't know if anyone else has had trouble doing that from China. So if you have or know sort of some hacks around that, let us know. Last thing kind of on the miner piece, it looks like, so there haven't been any disputes in quite a few days, which is exciting. Yeah, so if, hopefully that means that the miner upgrades worked and we sort of fixed that issue. If you're seeing values that should be disputed and you're just being nice, definitely let us know so we can fix them. If you notice, I added another issue for me to do today. we're going to be adding some better logging information. So if you do submit a bad value, hopefully we can start spitting out like what API you called, what request ID, just make sure you're submitting the right thing and what exactly you're submitting. So that way, whenever a dispute happens, it should be relatively easy to go grab your log file and send it over to us. And we can sort of look at it and make sure that you weren't doing anything malicious relatively easily. So yeah, those are kind of the big updates on the miner code. Over this past weekend, Brendan and I, we headed out to San Francisco. We did the San Francisco Blockchain Week, the DeFi Hackathon. That went really well. So we talked to a bunch of people who can probably use Tellor. Talked to them just about kind of Oracle design. Looks like we'll be kind of design partners with a few different projects, just teaching them how to actually implement an Oracle in the right way. So that went really well. Got a little hacking done as far as starting to look at some future things we can do with the miner and the GPU. More on that hopefully over the next few weeks. But that goes to kind of help we can use from you guys. The biggest piece, we'd love if you guys want to do some work for tributes, let us know. We're happy to give you guys a small amount of tributes or sort of the current price value for work. And what that means is if you are really good at Python and want to do an open source explorer, if you're really good at JavaScript and want to help out on Tellor Scan, if you're really good at documentation, just anything you guys want, we'd love to kind of support other people developing in here, because that sort of makes the whole community stronger whenever other people sort of vet the code and it's not just like myself and the core team who are pushing all the updates. We want to sort of build that community, and then that's like what the dev share is for. That's developing. So it shouldn't just be the core team; it should be everyone. So if you guys want to, I'm working on actually getting it accepted to Gitcoin, so we'll be able to pay tributes in Gitcoin, and then we can post bounties on the issues that way. But until that sort of gets approved, just message me with what you guys want to work on, and we'll get you some tributes for helping out, just kind of promoting Tellor in general. So, or yeah, if it's marketing or something like that and you want some tributes for it, we're more than happy to do that as well. Last thing, we're also looking for some Solidity developers. We're going to be doing a pull request into Compound, which is very exciting. So we're finishing up the code on our end, and then we're going to sort of merge it into their style formats over the next few days. And then we'll be making a pull request into their system. We had a meeting with them out in San Francisco, but we'd love kind of more eyes than just Brenda and mine. So if you are a Solidity developer, want to earn a few tributes, help out Tellor, just looking at the Solidity code, maybe running some of the tests, let me know. So that's kind of it. Over the next week, we'll be working. I think we're going to be doing some Tellor Scan updates. We want to make sure that works so everybody can actually use it. We'll also be just knocking out some of the other issues in the miner and slowly upgrading it to a GPU as we get some free time. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, now is your chance. If you need anything else, definitely let me know. I'm always kind of available, as you guys know. So questions, comments? No, so there's not many people. Thanks for coming on today. I will post this, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. See you.